call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters. Hide the heart of who we are. Making peace to build a future. Strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard. The land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters. Hide the heart of who we are. Making peace to build a future. Strong, united, working till we fall. And we all lift. And we're all adrift together. Together. Through the cold mist. Till we're lifeless together.
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. Today we're going to be working on Void Haunter some more, a game about being giant space pirates. A lot of work got done, a lot of work inadvertently over the past little while. Generally speaking, if we look here, again we got our title. We expanded the page count to 23 currently. Here's the basic preface, and here's the lore. The lore isn't done yet. Pretty much when it comes to any of these sci-fi settings, I always find it difficult to get all the lore I want done right away. Usually because it's such a big endeavor to get every single... Oh god. It's usually a big endeavor to get every single piece of the lore like I want done, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna make this lore simple. And it's like, no, the lore is not simple. Fuck. Not again. But yeah, I kind of got some of the basic gist down. Might work on that some more. I might just add, what I might do is just add, like, here's a bunch of setting notes. If you want to take it. If you don't need to. But generally speaking, I kind of patched some basic things up. Things got moved around here a little bit. And the main reason they got moved around was just to kind of make sense a little bit more, and to make sure that, excuse me. And that some of the names actually kind of functioned a little bit better. Which is also what happened down here, because I actually changed Grifter to Smuggler. I feel Smuggler worked a little bit better from what I was trying to go for. One of the big things too is that I actually added a little bit of detail to every setting. This is where a lot of the page count kind of erupted from. Why did you suddenly go on the other page? Why? But why? Okay, so we're gonna do that. We'll do that. So I guess I need to add that later. But yeah, I just added some detail to everything just to make sure everything kind of worked. You got some Expanse fan art here. I believe this is just concept art from the show. Just some basic stuff, everything I could find to try to get the right vibe in. Fun fact, it's actually very hard to find just like good hard sci-fi artwork that isn't just, man, this goes hard. Which seems kind of silly, but it is somewhat difficult. Let me see. Everything kind of got moved around a little bit when it shouldn't have. But yes, one of the basic ideas that I changed, I changed Grifter to Smuggler. Which one of the ideas behind Smuggler, where I was like, I need to find the right thing, and then I thought about it and was like, it was a 2 a.m. thought. I was like, wait a second, this is fucking perfect. Why don't I do this? Which is the idea of a smuggler is effectively acquisitions and circles. Circles are from Burning Wheel, of course, which was the best addition to that game could ever literally make ever, because Burning Wheel is actually a very good game, unfortunately just Burning Wheel. Generally speaking, the idea behind Smuggler is about who you know, about finding out information, about also kind of appraising goods and finding what you need to know. You have something of value, it's you being able to know that what it's actually worth or what actually it is. The Smuggler kind of takes a few different routes of how it can be used, and someone with a really high Smuggler not only kind of knows a lot of people, can know where to get goods, but can also identify just basic information about the world around them. There are actually multiple intelligence stats, and there's kind of different ways of approaching everything, which that was kind of the goal, kind of going forward with it. So I'm glad that kind of worked out. I also added this little note right here. If you want to do no life paths, it's right here. Generally speaking, nothing really changed. Nothing too drastically changed. I couldn't really do any like mechanic stuff because of what we're going to be doing today. Yes, today we're going to be actually wrapping up right here, skills and background. Skills and background is going to be pretty simple. It's just going to be adding stuff. One other thing we're going to be working on is the idea of ship creation. Yes, we're going to be finally doing probably the hardest bit of this entire project by far, simply because of the fact that it is going to require a lot of information that is going to be difficult. Let's just say we will say that in the most affectionate term available. I am going to actually do this, and I'm actually going to make this kind of a grayish color just so we can kind of differentiate. And one of the big ideas behind ship creation is, at the end of the day, what I need to do is, that's actually even a little bit too dark. It's kind of hard to identify what I need. No, that's incorrect. Where is it? Yeah, this is where things start getting a little bit complicated, simply due to the fact that I need to start building hulls. Yes, we're going to have to build hull. And hulls don't seem like that big of a deal, but there's just going to have to be a lot of them, and I have to kind of accommodate the reality of the situation. Get hype, boys, we're playing Tetris. Yeah, pretty much. Also, before I get any further, I'd like to thank coffee. I'd like to thank Arthur Davenport for following. Thank you. Up to 147 followers. Ooh, go team. But yeah, we're gonna be playing Tetris a little bit. But let's get done with character creation first. That is priority numero uno right now. Let me see. We're going to select all of this. Skills and backgrounds. Skills and backgrounds. Which this is going to be pretty simple, to be honest. Like, I didn't do this last time just because it was like it's very late and I need to do something. This is going to be pretty simple, all things considering. Skills and backgrounds are the last aspect. Yes, music going still. Music's very twinkly today. I decided to yeah, I decided to use the music of Tsukumo Sana, the Astro Girl BGM from Hollow EN. However, Sana's dead. Sana got shot in the back of the head for crimes against humanity. So it's always awkward, using like a graduated Chuba's gear. But yeah, hello Sana. Skills and backgrounds are the last aspect about a captain. And can be considered And are the personalizing. Actually, how do I want to do this? Skills and backgrounds are the last aspect about a captain, where titles, where the life path determines where they've been. Titles determine who they are. You know, how others see them. Actually, determines who they are. Let's see. Life path determines where they've been. Titles determine who they are. Skills and backgrounds determine who the how they operate. Skills and backgrounds determine who they really are. Each captain will be assigned. Each captain will. Let's see. Each captain will give themselves a single skill of their choice. Actually, do I want to? How do I want to do this? Because one of the ideas behind skills is that like skills and skill/backgrounds are kind of like minor bonuses. So that's the entire idea. They're very minor bonuses that you've gotten just by virtue of just being a person in a situation. Like you get a little bit of extra bonus die, or you get like just a little, you get a +1, you get a +1 here. I might tie it to the backgrounds, like you have to follow your background, your life path. Actually, we'll do that. Who they really are. For each step of their life path, they will determine a skill or backgrounds they have from that particular aspect of their life. Writing each down. After determining each one, they will distribute. Let's see. There's going to be 5 steps. There's going to be 5 backgrounds. We can do. Actually, no. Determine 5 ranks among each of them, with the base being 0. Base being 0. 0 rank skill. Whenever a skill or background becomes relevant, they will add the number of die, the number of ranks in that skill or background. I'm gonna have to come up with a better name because I just written the term skill and or background quite plenty of times. Might just call them backgrounds. Actually, no. I don't know if we do that. Backgrounds are the last aspect about the captain, where life path determines where they've been. Titles determine how they operate. Actually, yeah, we'll call it history. No, fuck. No, skills. Skills. Whenever a skill becomes relevant, they will add the number of ranks in that skill in D8s to their check. To their trial. There we go. Whenever a skill becomes relevant, they will add a number of ranks in that skill. Indeed, that's a really weird way of wording that. Okay. Whenever a skill becomes relevant, they will add a number of ranks from that skill to their trial. This represents personal knowledge or background in this particular field. Actually, no, we do this. Rank 0 skills can still be useful. The dealing how the captains have assumed competence. And even having a passing knowledge of a particular field makes it so they can attempt checks, they can attempt trials related to it. There we go. So the idea being that even if you have a rank 0, you're still getting something out of it. It might not be a lot, but you're getting something. I don't know why, like, Google Docs have been really sticky lately. It's kind of weird. Like, it's just not clicking. I think it's because that this is technically, like, it doesn't like the fact that it's 0.5 margin, so it's been kind of freaking out. I don't know why, it just is. What I'm gonna do is, how do I want to do this? Okay, actually I know how I can do this. When in doubt, continue using the same thing. Actually, no. No. We don't need this. What am I talking about? Lead table. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What I'm going to do, actually, is we're going to do an example. Aussie Strix. Hello, Aussie. How you doing? Yeah, Aussie. We'll do this. Aussie Strix, Pirates Extraordinaire. Aussie needs to finally determine his skills. Checking his life path again. He chooses to have the following skills. Well, if I remember correctly, he had pretty standard background, like nothing too exciting. Fortress, military, greed, comfort. Yeah, he chose the following skills, so we do this. Fortress. Military officer, he's going to choose his military officer's son, which is he's going to have 0 ranks in. He's going to be a frigate captain. Actually, it would be destroyer, wouldn't it? Destroyer is the smallest class of ship. Oh, Miro! I wish to learn something, because I wrote you all down. Oh, Miro! Let me see. Corvette. So yeah, it's yeah, okay. Let's see. His military career is that he would be what would be a good military career? Like, what would he go into? Because he's just this bastard. You know, he's kind of a kiss-ass kind of guy. He's military quartermaster. He's going to have 2 ranks in that. He is going to be full on Because the third stake is like your career kind of sets you down a bad path, which is going to be actually we'll call it ranks in military, not military. What would be a good dress blue smuggler? It's kind of like the idea that he would sneak shit in that he shouldn't be there. Taking a bit off the top, we'll say cooking books. Cooking books, 1. And finally, his comfort is that he wants to be comfortable. He doesn't really give a shit. He just wants a shit ton of money to live the ideal life. Because that's his personal background, because that's what he's looking to do. He is looking for, let me see, what would be the correct term for it? Everybody, let's see, officer and a gentleman. And there we go. Because he's a military officer's son, he'd know some things. Because he was a quartermaster, he gets some bonuses. Because he was the dress blue smuggler, he gets some other bonuses here. He knows how to cook the books, and he also knows how to be an officer and a gentleman, because that's what he wants to be. That's what he's going to be comfortable with. So this would be his fortress homeworld. Fortress homeworld. Military corner. Military career. Career trial. This would be his greed. It would be his greed, not motivation. Comfort, motivation, cooking books. What is that? Crisis. There we go. So it's kind of along the idea. You kind of get what I want from this is that you're getting a slightly better idea of who this guy is from just this singular. Like, your skills kind of determine a lot more about you than anything else. Like, that's kind of the idea. There we go. Select this. We need to select this. We need to space asshole. So Ozzy may appear. Let's see. Ozzy may appear to be the ideal gentleman from a well-established background. However, underneath all the charm and grace lies a man hell bent on squeezing every mark from squeezing every mark from every person he meets. So it's kind of along the idea, like, this guy's kind of an asshole, like, right off the bat, like, he's kind of a dick. We don't, no care. I don't think it's like, I don't want any character in this game to be like, this is a good person. Like, you all kind of got your issues. Like, even if you are like oh, I'm a good person, I've done nothing wrong, being like, you're still a dick. Like, and I kind of wanted to reflect that in kind of how the skill descriptions, it's like, something clearly happened that messed your day up, that kind of set you down this path. Because again, no one becomes a pirate because they feel like it. Especially not a stellar pirate, which is probably the worst career move you could make. Because, fun fact, this is just going to be death. Actually, I should say, table. I'm gonna do a side note. Side note, writing skills. Writing skills. Skills should not be, let's see, skills should not be entire, should not just be a single thing. They should have a bit of wiggle room, interpretation. For example, the dress blue smuggler. Both means Ozzy's ability to get around military policy, as well as his slight smuggling, as well as his on-person smuggling, a smuggling background. So it's kind of more along the idea being like, skills are a little bit loose. I might call them something else, just to give it the idea. Think broad. Open interpretation. Open interpretation is ideal. These are competent people with a complicated background. With complicated backgrounds. With a complicated background. These are competent people with a complicated background. So yeah, it's there we go. There we go. So yeah, it's kind of along the idea. I'm gonna slap an image right there, kind of being like, this is what their very basic are. At their absolute basic, this is what they want them to be. But now we get into that part. All right, everybody. Like, oh Jesus, you're not gonna let me do this. You're gonna get pissy now, aren't you? I put you too far low, and now you're like, there's not a thing anymore here. There's not a place for me to be. I'm scared. No, fuck off. Jesus. I don't know. I don't want to be here anymore. God damn it. Jesus Christmas Christ. Okay. We've got our most basic understanding of what a character looks like. Next, we get to explain ships. Okay. Now, ship creation is going to be a little bit weird. What I can do really is just do this, and we'll make this. How do I want to word this? Oh, ship creation. My darling girl's ship creation. A captain is nothing without their ship. Without their ship, each captain will be assigned. Let's see. Actually, we'll be given a stipend. We're giving a stipend of. We're going to make a very large insert money here sign, please. I'm gonna make that bright fucking red so I don't forget. We'll be given a stipend of insert money here sign, please. To build and construct their initial ship. Before formally constructing a ship. Before constructing a ship, one must explain how a ship functions and looks. So my darling girl, our heading 2 is going to be a ship. Actually, how do I want to do this? Ship type, designation, actually ship components. Each ship. Let's do this. So each ship is built from a variety of components that make up its core systems and exterior effects. Makes up its core systems and exterior effects. The most obvious of these is the ship's hull. Let's see. The most obvious of these are the ship's hull, but all internal systems play an important. Let's see. Variety of components make up its core system and exterior effects. Let's see. Make up its core system. These are mostly determined by the ship's designation, or by the ship's designation. There are in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, total of 7 different ship designations in Void Hunters. Corvettes, frigates, destroyers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, battle cruisers. Actually, that should just be one word because welcome to English. Battle cruisers and capitals ships. Each designation. So each designation will. Let's see. A variety of these are in total 7 different ship designations in Void Hunters: corvettes, frigates, destroyers. Okay, so change this to ship designations. Okay. Let's actually, you know what we're gonna do? Let's take a second. Let's take a big second here. And let's type this out. What's the actual, how are we going to do this? So let's do again my darling girl, ship creation. Then we're going to go into ship designations. Then we're going to explain, hulls. Under ship designations, we're going to explain hulls, engines. Well, I guess, yeah, modules. So hulls, engines, modules, and hard points. There we go. Hulls, engines, modules, and hard points. Then we're going to immediately move on to ship hulls. And we're going to move on to ship hulls, which would be, we're going to then from here need to explain. This would be corvette, a destroyer, frigate, and destroyer. I guess you could probably throw in like a budget light cruiser. Like, if you go for a light cruiser, like, it's going to be bare bones as fuck, but you're going to have a light cruiser kind of thing. Hello, Manly, how are you? I am, staring into the void and praying. Now. Ah. Where have you been lately? Hello, Solid. I haven't seen you around, actually. Let's see. Oh shit, I have to explain cargo. Actually, under modules, we explain... Under modules, we explain cargo. So it'd be like, we explain what the hull is and kind of how the hull works. We explain how the engines work, kind of like your speed and such. Then we move into cargo and be like, here's all this cargo space, in which then you move into modules. Which then you move into hard points. And is there any other like major systems we need to... Sensors, I guess. Guess we can do sensors. So let's see, this is heading 2, these would all be heading 3. There we go. Kind of, actually what I can do, if I really want to, I could do more along the line like soft systems, hard systems. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. These would be heading 4 effectively, but these would, you kind of break it down a little bit more to break everything up. And actually, if we want to do this correctly, we do it like this, because hard points are kind of weird and they're more tied to the hull, but you can switch out things. That's the idea. I'm not too good, but the resets we could. I understand that. This is Void Haunters. This is a game about being space pirates. Ethical Explosives convinced me to, in fact, make it entirely also Tetris. Because how this is going to work, effectively, is you're going to have a ship. Let's just say we're going to have a ship that looks maybe like this, for example. And what's going to happen here is you get to fill it in with things. So you can say, I want to have this 3x3, this 2x3 thing. But I mean, I'm going to have, come on. I want this 2x3 module here, and I want like a 4x1 module. I want to kind of put that in there a little bit. And can I fit this really awkward looking awful Tetris piece nightmare in there? Yes, I can. And I want to keep this all for cargo space. So it's kind of like the idea of like you're building this, but lo and behold, this is the joke more than anything. Each section of this ship can actually get targeted. So if this entire section gets blown off, well, you've lost an entire section of your ship. But the big idea is that almost all of every ship is going to be composed of these various modules. And after you disable a ship, you might end up in a situation where you can take these modules for yourself and put them in your own ships. Everything's very modular. And right now I'm trying to sort everything out for how to do this smoothly. Tabletop mystery dungeon system. You can, oh, that one. I've heard about that one. Yeah, like actual Technominos. That's what I was thinking about doing. What was the original idea is if we use this one, it's a little bit ignore literally. Yeah, as you can kind of see by this schizo notes over here. One of the ideas being that, let's say I draw this out, and this is like, oh cool, look at my awesome ship here. This is my cool ship. you might end up with like parts that look like this, like, oh wow, look how nice and elegant it looks. You might also end up with like this god-awful thing you gotta put in somewhere, being like, alright, I mean, all I gotta do is kind of like, all I gotta do is like rotate it slightly and it'll work, right? Yeah. Alright, now fit this fucker in some, like, please fit this thing in. Please fit this shape in here somewhere. It's like, I guess I'm going to put it like this, I guess, and have like weird cargo space in my ship. And one of the other major factors is, in case you choose to, adopt more damaged parts, in which you might need to, a part that normally would fill out something like, look like this, may need you to like have additional space on it, simply because it's not as good. It's, it's damaged, it's broken. It's clearly a inferior product, let's just say that. So it's like, oh, well, shit. Like, now I like half my ship's useless, but hence why you have things like over here, for example, where damaged modules need to be repaired. Like, you need to actually fix them, or they're just going to be worthless. So the game mostly boils down to, how do you manage these more than anything? How do you choose to manage what modules you have on your ship? And obviously, the more exotic modules are going to be far more complicated to insert. Let's see. How hard science is this? Not super hard science. The setting, as I was trying to write today, the basic concept of the setting is we've been blasting each other further and further back in the tech tree, where the current like default tech level for ships is literally called scrap tech. It's like, let's just put a bunch of ships together and see what works. Hey, I have this freighter, but now I've converted it into a gunboat. Hey everybody, I have this thing I've converted into a gun, I've converted it into a makeshift carrier. And more along the lines of like, yeah, there are things like 3D printer tech. The problem is nobody knows how to fix it anymore, and nobody knows quite how it works. It's just click the magic button and suddenly things happen. We get the ideas, we can clearly read it, it just doesn't make any sense. We have gaps in our knowledge now. I wrote up like this massive one, and I'm like, nope, can't do it. Yeah, that's one of the big ideas. Like, I think is I want more complicated parts to have more segments. Like, that's going to be kind of a big thing. I kind of want to have it in there. It's like, yeah, here's like a clear section of like, this is a little bit down. Like, here's an incredibly awkward section that is damaged. You need to get it up and going. I have a few ideas how to do that. It probably will be just like, this is the rough number of squares kind of thing. Mostly because how I want these is some of these ships, like this is a small ship. Like some of the ships can get like astronomically huge. You can even kind of see over here. Like, yeah, this ship is pretty much like way larger. With the idea being like full-on capital ships that you will never even have the chance of interacting with may look like something like this. And have like, yeah, here's my single module, man. Like, what is the, like, what the fuck does this module do? Oh, it just fixes literally all the problems that I could ever have and makes it so I can shoot all my guns constantly. It's like, oh, that's awful. It's truly terrible. Why would you ever do that to me? Yeah, so that's kind of the idea of what I would, like, what I'm kind of going for. Will it work? I don't know yet. I just need to see if it does. Would you add psychic powers and titans? Probably not. Psychic powers are not really the scope of this particular game. Really big ships are not even that thing. One of the big idea is AI is very prevalent, but they're all shackled AI. which is the most common type of true AI. Shackled AI can best be described as a hyper-intelligence with the ability to comprehend more than any person could, but half of their brain has been surgically removed. They tend to be able to think within a limited purview, having a stroke whenever they try to move beyond it, causing them to either have a meltdown or soft reboot. Yeah, shackled AI are pictured being like, ah, yes, this is a fully functional human being. We've just taken half the brain out and decided to, you know, make sure that it works a little better. So let's see. We have soft systems, hard systems. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. No, I don't believe I am. Okay. Yeah, must be able to be taken apart relentlessly. Scrap is reliable, tools less so. Split standard damage location. Okay, cool. So we have our basic ship hulls. Kind of like, these are going to be our cheap ass hulls that you can buy right away. Then we're going to have to buy our initial modules, which we're going to say initial modules. And our initial modules are going to be kind of just a variety of like, here's little simple tetranom, you know, here's little simple ones. Or vastly inefficient ones. Yeah. Yeah, Manuel, you're on the right track in that regard. That was kind of one of the ideas. It's like, if you want really high-tech, super cool stuff, they're weird and they're hard to fit in. But one of the other ideas is like, you can either go, like, really efficient stuff is usually like, oh, sweet Jesus, like, here's like a really efficient module that's a lot smaller, but it's really only high-tech and you aren't getting hold of it easy. So you have to, like, get killing. You know, you're going to have to get killing to try to get those kind of good, better modules. Or you can get the shitty ones that are massive and barely work. Yeah, the idea behind the modules are like, yeah, here's, like, yeah, you want a bigger module, you want a module for something that can, like, yeah, I want a converted hangar in one of my ships. Cool, it's going to be like a 3x6 and you get like nothing in it. But it's like, hey, congratulations, you have a you have a really budget, you know, hangar in your system, but you have to kind of pay for it a little bit. While these guys can be like, yeah, I want a hangar. Yeah, I want a hangar, bro. Like, here's my hangar. It's like, oh, you have all this other room to do stuff within too. I don't want to fight the battleship. Battleship wants to fight you. Which is like, one of the perpetual things is like, you're going to die most likely. Like, that's the problem. Let's see, ship hulls, corvette, frigates, destroyer, light cruisers. These are kind of our basic ones that you can kind of afford right off the back. Our kind of basic initial modules that we are free to select. Crew. Actually, what we can do is we do crew management, ship designation. No, we do ship hulls, initial module, crew management. And then we are pretty much done with the idea of ship creation. We need to explain some of the basic concepts more than anything. So let's move on to... We're going to move on to this, which is going to be hulls. Each ship is designated by its hull. Each ship is designated by its hull, which determines major aspects about how the ship functions, how the ship looks. Each ship is designated given shape by its hull. This does not only reflect the look of the ship, but also its internals for purposes of modules, hard points, and damage locations. each hull, let's say each hull is split into quadrants. That can be individually targeted during combat. When each hull has split into different quadrants, can be individually targeted during combat if presented to enemy fire. I'm not reading something right away. Give me 1 second. Loranthamon. my favorite, Pokemon episode. That episode where Ash went to Glorantha and had to go on a hero quest. Good times all around. Each hull is split into quadrants, can be individual targeted. Actually, we'll call it split into sections. Individually targeted during combat, presented to enemy fire. Each section has a, what did I end up calling it? Actually, it would be there we go. And let's see, each section has an integrity rating, which judges how much damage the armor can take. The armor can take before punctures begin to form. Heavy fire in a single section may spell doom for even the largest of ships. Because one of the ideas has an integrity rating. Because one of the ideas is, for example, we'll take our little square ship over here. This is split up into various quadrants, so it's something like this would be one section, section 2, section 3, section 4. If I take a lot of damage over here in this particular section, this is going to get damaged, and that means I'm going to start losing, it's actually here, I can even make this simpler. I am a genius. If I go here. So, for example, like if I start taking damage on this side of my ship, what's going to happen eventually is, oh no, this entire section of my ship is now open and I'm going to die. My modules just I'm taking internal damage now, and when I take full internal damage, it's kind of over because everybody inside is dead. But if I spread the damage around, where it's like, yeah, if I take pretty severe damage all around me, but nothing's punctured, I'm fine. It's going to be expensive to repair, but nothing too bad. But it's so it's one of those things like full front-on engagements are okay, this is you don't want to have these front engagements because guess what? These sections are usually going to be the most well-defended ones. Well, the back one's usually going to have a lot less armor. So it's kind of one of those things where you want to always face forward, but hey, we're fighting people. Maybe we want to hit them from the side. You want to target these ones. And the idea is be a bastard, but you don't want to completely destroy things. I like how in Hero Quest, there's a high chance on you literally doing or reenacting a Hero Quest TM. Yes. Did you steal that thing from Mega Man Battle.net? No, I've never actually... I've played one Mega Man game. Mega Man was never my jam. But, yeah, this is kind of the basic idea of, yeah, go for... fuck their butt, is what I'm trying to say. Fuck their butt. Go for things that are... able for you to exploit and find. That's what you want to do. Let's see. So integrity rating. After the actually integrity rating has been punctured. After the integrity rating has been punctured, not only will that module will associated modules in that area become damaged. Not only will associated modules in that area become damaged, they will also begin taking internal damage. Internal damage. Actually, when a ship has taken full internal damage, actually taken their maximum internal damage, it will hit that, comma, it will either break apart, or explode depending on the weapon types used. Break apart, explode, or become disabled depending. Let's see. It's taken maximum internal damage. Break apart, explode, or become disabled depending on the weapon types used. Which is to say, if you shove a missile in somebody that's already half dead, they're probably going to explode. If you just shoot them to death, they'll probably break apart more than anything. They won't necessarily die, they'll just break apart. Or, you know, it's like, yeah, we shot them with a shit ton of, like, you know, kind of things to disable them. We're going to try to disable them. So yeah, here's kind of the basic idea of, you know, kind of like the hulls and integrity, which I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as like a very basic example. Like, here's the very basic example of what a hull's going to kind of look like. Yeah, here's this fucking square that you have to work with. Have fun, asshole. So each hull has a series, actually each hull has a number of sections. Actually, no, it has a number of module slots. Embedded in it to allow the captain and their crew to fully customize their brand new ship for their particular needs. We do this ship designation. We talk about hulls a little bit. These module slots. I'm not responding. Apologies. I'm just double checking. These module slots are other particular needs, but more on modules later. They fully customize their brand new ship for their particular needs, in which we move to. Do we want to talk about soft systems first or hard systems? When does the karaoke start? No, this is not a cute Catboy stream. Apologies. Sorry, Delirium Tower. Delirium's Tower. Apologies. Make sure making a tile and chip scam. To a degree. It's how do I want to word this? This is kind of the main gimmick, you could say, of the ship. Like, here's like how actual characters are built. Like, yeah, you want a full life path system, it's right here. You want full everything here to kind of give you an idea of like what really needs to be done. is here's ship creation and like how it works. Here's how ship combat works. And then we get things like this. This is where a lot of the, how do I want to word this? Actually, I should say, I should put this in here as well. I'd say like this is where a vast majority of like the role-playing aspects are going to come in. While this is kind of the, this is why you're playing this game kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, this is why you're actually here. Yeah, come on. I know how you roll. Now you lie to me. I know how you roll. Do I switch around hard systems and softs? I talked about module slots now, so I think I'm going to put hard systems in here. Hard systems. When building a ship, the hard systems are often the first to be considered. These are parts of the ship. These are parts of the ship, if I can fucking spell, of the ship that can be targeted, destroyed, and even potentially salvaged. Salvaged after a combat encounter, after a bloody raid. Let me see. So let's see. There are three kinds of hard systems. Modules, hardpoints, and cargo. Yes, cargo is technically going to be considered a hardpoint because there's a reason for that. Because one of the ideas I have is, like, let's take our little square ship here. I gotta sneeze. I don't need to sneeze. So one of the ideas being, like, let's say this is our ship, but let's say we put in a big module right here. And let's say we put in a big module right here. But what happens to these? These are going to be converted into cargo. Any open module slot is going to be cargo space. So if you completely fill up on a ship, you're not really going to have a lot of space to just store shit. Which doesn't seem very, like, that doesn't seem very important until you realize you need to haul everything back home. Then it's like, oh, wait a second. This is a little bit important. So I'm like, maybe we should have some more. Maybe we should choose to invest a little bit. But generally speaking, everyone's always going to have like a little bit of cargo. Like, you're always going to have just a smidge of cargo to kind of like, let's say, tide yourself over. But it's like, okay, you're not going to have any. However, if I were to say, let's say I were to remove this, for example, like this just isn't here. This is being converted into additional cargo space that I can use for something else, rather than just having to rely on basic stuff. So it's like you don't want to fill every ship up to the brim. But one thing what I want to do is to prevent like situations where you just have like these weird scattered ones. Like let's say like a really esoteric module looks something like this. It's kind of a weird example, but let's say you have something that looks like this, for example. I'm trying to dissuade this because you technically have two sets of cargo. This is less efficient than just saying, I'm just having, say, this, like all connected cargo space. So that's kind of like just another consideration you have to think about. And the Navy cargo is always constant. Yeah, like one of the ideas behind like the idea of like constant cargo is just like no matter what, you can still store shit aboard your ship. But like if you have like dedicated cargo space, that means like you're hauling some big shit. Can you build a pull cargo like a U-Haul? Yeah. And that's one of the things like I fully expect players to do at one point is, hey, we found this freighter. We're going to break down this freighter and sell it. No, we're fucking not. Like, if we use this freighter, we open it up. It's our freighter that we can store all our shit in. Like, oh, cool, this is fine. Just somebody has to, you know, manage the freighter now. And that's going to be their own issues. Which is like, yeah, here's all our shit in a single little undefended little fuck ship that nobody cares about. It's like, well. Yeah, so it's one of those things like, because you are pirates, you are always raiding. You can't like, buying ships isn't really going to be a thing. Unless you buy a ship from somebody else, but they're probably putting it at a premium, and so it's like, do you really want to buy a ship, or do you want to steal a ship and then convert it to do something else? With having a lot more ships than your little fleet than needed, can sometimes lead to you just not being very good at combat because you have to manage the rest of your fucking fleet in addition to your own ships. Let's see, are you heading 3? Yeah, so you'd be heading 4 then. I knew this was going to happen, and I still fell into it, because I'm a silly boy. Orbitron. Yeah, there we go. We do that, and then we do... Modules. The most common type of hard system is a module. These individualized pieces of a ship can be slotted in and out of a ship's hull. Due to I believe I said it was Fed Tech, right? I actually put it in here as a lore reason why they chose to do this. It's Fed Tech. Okay. Due to federal tech standards. Due to federal tech standards mandating the need for modularity. Each module has a different size, shape, and sometimes even specifications of where it can be placed. The most common type of modules where it can be placed. However, each module can be rotated at any degree. Can rotate it at any degree when being placed in a ship. Now, this does technically mean, and yes, this is something that I fully expect a player to do because their players are stupid, and we should all respect the player. Always remember, respect the player choice. We should always respect player choice. Is like, okay, you've got a nice 4x2 module. All right, where are you gonna put it? I know. I'm a genius, GM. And then you want to kill yourself. What's preventing them from buying a ship and shooting? Let's see. Buy cargo. Generally, maintaining the ship conditions and logistics is more important than more expensive factors. Yeah. What's preventing them from buying a ship and then shooting the seller? Normally, here's the big thing about what I want to kind of get across with the idea of the Void Hunters is, as a Void Hunter, you are the scum beneath everybody else's feet. You are nothing. You are parasites. You are nothing. And people don't want to deal with you. So unless you're kind of building those relationships with people who are actually selling ships, it ain't gonna really work. To get any kind of good ship, you're going to need to actually, like, get into the good graces. Yeah, you're the dirt under my fingernails. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those ideas of, like, you have to work into the good graces of one of the bigger factions. You have to be like, yes, I will do whatever you want me to do. Just give me a better ship, please. Which is like, yeah, that's going to be one of the kind of the bigger problems. Which in more pirates, when you're kind of dealing with your own people, you could say, there's kind of an honor system. Like, yeah, you can buy the deeds from one of my ships. Here it is. And it's like, oh, okay, go to this port over here. And you're like, cool. And you go there and it's like, oh, he sold us a shitty tanker that's that can barely fly. I'm going to beat the man to death later. Like, yeah, that's kind of the idea. Like, if you're dealing with pirates selling ships, they're probably not going to be the best. And I fully intend if everything works according to plan in this game, there should be a moment when you buy a ship off somebody, you go find it, and you realize he completely fucking lied to you. Or sold you a rust bucket that is worthless. It's like, I hate. Yeah, and also for Delirium's Tower, that's one of that's like kind of one of the basic ideas of how I want this to kind of go. If, like, you take pretty severe damage across your entire ship, you're going to have to repair all of that. You're going to have to pay your crew, you're going to have to do all this. Piracy is not lucrative. That's not the point of this. This is for you to survive and get rich quick. You might get, you know, it's one of those things like if you, a good pirate is the kind of people who are can take minimal casualties for maximum gain. The stupid ones are the ones who take the risky jobs. But everything's a risky job when you're getting really hungry. Each module can be rotated any degrees from which when being placed in a ship. Oh, let's see. How do I want to word this? Modules will of the various types of actually, no, I should say modules when during combat when internal damage when internal damage yeah, oh god damn it, when internal damage is suffered, the modules take nodules in that section will begin to shut down, or become damaged, requiring extensive repairs. So modules in that section will begin to shut down and become damaged, requiring extensive repairs. Let's see, a ship with a, yeah, okay. No. What am I doing? We don't need to do that because that's kind of actually no. Module in section will be module in that section will shut down. And become inoperable. Let's see. Yeah, will shut down and become inoperable. Meaning that when the initial armor is punctured, when the initial armor is actually integrity. Actually, when the initial integrity rating is punctured, when the initial integrity rating is punctured, the The ship will quickly begin to shut down, and the crew begins to panic. So it's kind of along the idea like things go wrong very quick. Important, will there be ramming maneuvers? Yes, of course there will be ramming maneuvers. Who do you think I am? Kind of the idea with like how I picture like a ramming maneuver to be is like you're trading your health for their health. And it's like, yeah, I have an actual ship and I've put a module in the front of my ship that makes it so I take a shit ton less damage, but you take more, for example. That's kind of one of the ideas. And how I picture a majority of actual like things to occur is just rolling a boatload of D8s. Like, yeah, just roll a shit ton of D8s. Yeah, it's like you're going to ram at full fucking speed. Like, yeah, it's going to be dependent more on your speed and kind of like the size of things. But yeah, if you hit them in the side going full speed in a fucking light cruiser against a tiny little Corvette, there's a good chance you're just going to tear the Corvette in two. Yeah, because it's just like, yeah, or you're just going to knock them off. Random lost cargo. What do you mean by lost cargo? You mean this cargo you've lost, or cargo that's just kind of out there floating in the void? If you don't have wrapping, potentially make a ramming guard. Nah, it's funnier this way. You have shitty scrap tech. That's kind of the idea. Like, if you want to try to like come up with something, yeah, I'm not gonna stop you from doing it. But it's like, yeah, one of the things that I want to occur at one point during a game of this, and this would be kind of like one of those like ideal situations. Not ideal for anybody in particular, just ideal for me because I find it funny. Because I am a cruel person. Is your ship comes up and it's like, haha, we've come to here, and you just pop up next to like one of these bigger ships, like a full-on like battle cruiser or something, and you're just outclassed. Like, there's no chance, and it's just this like, oh fuck it, run. We are running. They've got quadruple the number of guns we do. They are way bigger, and if we get hit even a little bit, like, they're gonna just send us catapulting in the wrong direction. Like, we are all going to die if we try to fight this thing. And it's like, how do you take down a bigger ship like this? Pro tip, you don't. But if you want to try, it's mostly about trying to shut it down or find its weak point. Meaning the initial integrity rating is punctured, the ship will quickly begin to shut down while the crew begins to panic. Actually, I'm gonna paint stuff here real fast. Actually, I want to highlight how this is gonna work a little bit. Let's see. Good gold color. Kind of looks like a fucking pride flag, but I digress. We address right away, being like, here you go, this is what they look like. This is kind of like what a module is supposed to be like. So it's like, okay, like, modules fill up the little areas. We go from here, like, okay, this is what our ship looks like. Okay, this is our ship getting filled up with modules. Let's see. We need to do cargo next. Because we have that, since we have that there, we can explain cargo a little bit easier. Now it's going to be heading 4. What am I doing? Cargo. Cargonia. Remember Cargonia. Let's see. Hey. Cargo is the cargo. Cargo is the rough equivalence. Actually, it's a rough approximation of goods and loose material. Goods and loose material a ship can carry on it. That is filled with no module. Carry on it. Most ships can carry a decent number of supplies. Or liberated goods. However, having empty module slots, the slots have those empty sections being dedicated and not edging being dedicated to increasing cargo capacity. So we're going to make a rough chart here. Cargo is based off a unit. Based off a unit with one supply is based off a unit with larger pieces of machinery or tools being, let's see, cargo is based off a unit with larger pieces of machinery or tools taking up multiple units of space. Who's ready for spreadsheets? Yay, spreadsheets! We love spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are so much fun. Okay, so we need to do destroyers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, battle cruiser, and finally capitals. And we make sure that's all it is, and how do we want to do this? We want to make a table. Cargo holds. Cargo is based on a unit with large piece of machinery and tools taking up multiple units of space. I'm gonna do that. Oh, what dice system is this? What's going to happen is you're going to have a rating for your captain. It's going to be your title, and that's going to be ranked from 1 to 7. Once you determine that, the difficulty is going to be the number of d8s you're going to take with the intent with the intent of rolling under. So for example, I have a rating of 4 in my smuggler, for example, and I'm trying to convince someone to give me my fucking money. What I'm going to do is going to be pretty easy, so I'm going to take 4 of my d8s, I'm going to roll clickety clack, and I rolled 2 successes. I rolled a 4 and a 2, and 2 5s. Those 2 5s would fail, but my 2 successes would be a success. How this is going to work in combat is the idea is that depending on the range, you're going to be rolling multiple different kinds of dice, so the difficulty to hit is effectively going to be the number of dice being rolled. So having some shitty guns on front might mean you have a rating of 2. However, when you get close, you may be saying, oh, I want to roll, fucking 8d8, and I need to roll above, below a 2 to hit, and I rolled 2 hits pretty reliably. Or it could be just rolling a shit ton more dice, or just eventually hitting everybody with every piece of gun we have. That's kind of the basic idea. How much damage are you actually doing is going to be based off of that. So let's see, increasing cargo capacity, adjoining cargo space, adjoining cargo holds, increases the overall space gained by overall space gain. Actually, the overall. How do I want to work this? Joining cargo holds increase the effective. The let's see. Adjoining cargo holds increases the effective cargo space a ship has. While disconnected sections still provide, best not as much. It's not as much. So actually, what we can do here is we zoom all the way in. So we do, we'll do standard. Yeah, we'll do standard cargo units. These are very subject to change. I just want to write these down. For example, we're going to do one cargo hold. We're going to do one cargo hold. And then we do two cargo hold. Actually, we do. How do we want to do this? Let's see. I know what I want to say here, just writing it down is being a little bit not working for me. So, let's see. If we are doing this correctly, corvettes are the absolute smallest. So if we go along the idea, like destroyers, let's say that you can carry 250, frigates can carry about 200. Corvettes are going to be the smallest and actually can carry very little. Light cruisers, we're going to bump up to like, I'm kind of immediately 400. Kind of like it's exponential in size. That's kind of the idea. Like by the time you hit capitals, like your base cargo space is fucking massive. Like you are exponentially growing. With the problem being capitals are massive and require big investment. Basic cargo hold. If you get plus, you just get a single cargo hold. You're going to increase it by 10. Increase it by 10. However, you have two adjoining. It's going to be 15 for each. It's going to be 20 for each. And it's going to be 25 for each. So technically, you're getting 100 extra cargo if you are in this. You're getting 30. So it's pretty much you get 10, 30, 60, or 100. Well, over here, we can probably do something along the lines of increasing it by... We do increasing it by 5 consistently. That means that should work. So you get like just exponential growth, which I'm fine with. Like, so, but it's like you also don't want to just make like a raw cargo ship, because raw, but it also kind of depletes in value at the same time. I see that clip. Out curiosity, no bad. How do you find time to do all this? I have more pants on fire than I know what to do with. What? I just do it. I power through and I just find time and I just do. That's just how it works. There's no say, there's only do, as popular figure from Star Trek once said. You know, popular Battlestar Galactica character Spock said. He's my what would be the worst thing to say? He's my favorite Wookiee. So yeah, this is, I don't really know how the fuck I want to word this. Like there's a term, like the thing is, like I know there's a term for it, and if I find the term it would work just fine, but I don't know it. So I'm like, ergama. No, oh no. Let's see, destroyers. We want to table properties. Black on black. We want to middle alignment, center. Cargo, Cargonia. Cargo is based on unit large piece of machinery tools to get multiple units of space. Cool. Also, by the by, you're not using capital ships to move things. Let's just be honest with ourselves here. You ain't using capitals to do that. Why are you like that? Are you the way that you are? Maybe that looks better. Okay, it's actually midnight. Okay, so let's see. Ship designation, hulls. Okay, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to talk about hard points. Hard points. Oh yeah. Hey gamers, you ready for some hard points? Oh yeah. I'm ready. Oh, Jesus. Hello, Arrow. Who are you? Why do you want me? Why do you request me? Hello. I don't know what I expected by clicking on that. Cargo is a rough approximation of goods. Hard points. In the era of uncertainty, in an era having a simple gun is often the best course of action on even the shortest distance freighters. The weapons are assigned to hard points located on the sides of located on the hull of a ship. These weapons can be freely swapped out and reintegrated at a dock, but the main draw is that they must be assigned to hard points in particular sections. Being able to be used in that particular section or around it. In which we bring this up, we do this. See, can I do this just right? Oh yeah, gamers. Do this, and then you can't see any of this. However, I am doing some wizardry when it comes to paint.net to make things look nice. Actually, this. Nope, didn't mean to do that. Come on, we select you. hit Control V, we shrink you down because you're not quite what I'm looking for. I said I shrink you down because you're not quite what I'm looking for right now. So I have to explain that later when we get into things like fucking arcs of fire, because I am a masochist when it comes to that kind of shit. So we do it right there. This is going to be a relatively light game. It's just things like this that are going to bog it down. But the main draws that each assigned hardpoint particular. But the main draws they must be assigned to hardpoints in particular sections, being able to use in that being used in that section or around it. Arcs of fire. Different weapons. Different weapons have different requirements. Different weapons have different requirements. Often needing proper certification to even own such a weapon on a freighter, a registered freighter, that is. A registered freighter, that is. As the acquisition of these weapons are far simpler for those who are willing to bend the law. Your one advantage is this. That's the kind of one of the core ideas, is that one of your major advantages as a Void Haunter is you can strap a weapon to whatever it is. You have a hard point, you can slap a weapon on it. The problem is getting those weapons is a lot more complicated. One last thing I really want to introduce you before making this game, I want to add a few things. Oh, Final Space, I've heard of it. Registered freighter, that is. As the acquisition weapon, far simple. Each hard point is given hardpoint is ranked from a light, medium, or heavy. For heavy point, which indicates what kind of weapons can be mounted on them and used properly. A tachyon lance mounted on a light hardpoint. A light hardpoint would most likely rip itself out of said hardpoint during takeoff. So it's kind of like the idea, like you're going to have multiple hardpoints around your ship, and it's like, okay, I can mount heavy hardpoints on, these two sections, or light hardpoints. And that's kind of the basic gist of things. You might have only front-facing hardpoints. You might only have a few hardpoints all around. It's kind of how I want things to go. But the big thing is, like, you can slap as many guns as you want to on these ships. You just have to get a hold of the guns sometimes, and those guns are expensive. And you don't really need to do it. And what I'm probably going to do is probably put, like, an unnecessary, like, a tax on it, effectively, being like, yeah, you're still going to have to buy ammo for all these things. Ammo ain't cheap. Ammo ain't free. Freedom isn't free, everybody. Let's see. Hard points and air of uncertainty. Having a simple gun is often the best course of action, the shortest distance freighters. Okay, so we understand what modules, what cargo holds, and what hard points do. I'm going to call it there for tonight. Didn't get a lot done, but we kind of hammered out some of the basic details and how we're going to be handling things. What we need to do now is we go all the way down here to this section, my darling girl. I'm literally just going to paste it like right here. This is what needs to be done still. This is kind of the basic kind of ideas for it. And so currently we're at page 27. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I think once we hit about here, things are going to start making a lot more sense. Things are going to start making a good deal more of like, okay, here's how everything is kind of clicking together. But you have to explain what the hull looks like. You have to explain what the modules are like. You got to explain how cargo works. Then you got to explain how the hard points are going to work. Like, you got to explain these all so people understand them. And then when we get later on, we'd be like, okay, I understand what a hard point is. I understand what a weapon kind of looks like. Cool. I can now, everything's coming together, Batman. That's kind of how I want it to go. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there. Thank you all very much. My name is Notepad Anon. I hope to see you all on Friday for more ship creation. That's kind of going to be the big thing this week. Is my goal is to get ship creation done this week. Will it? I don't know, but we're going to try our best. What's going to happen is for the rest of the week, tomorrow I'm going to be working on the Dungeons and Dragonings video pretty much all day. So that's going to be fun. And on Saturday, we're going to be doing the Lancer Battle Fleet. Got an Angie weapon versus a Slug Slinger. An Angie weapon? What? You mean an energy weapon? I have a few ideas. But I'm going to call it there. Godspeed, good luck, and have a wonderful rest of the night. Well, it's midnight for me. Oh, Jesus. Ugh.